You've tuned into Bellingham Podcast Media Tech for the week of June 26, 2016, episode numero 10. I'm AJ Barcay.
And I'm Chris Powell. On this episode, AJ is going to talk about time, travel, and the best bags in town, for Bellingham at least. We'll be talking about how you can stream sounds from your phone to your car stereo's cassette player. You heard me right. And we'll share the locations that make us want to visit I-5, exit 257, Northwest Avenue. All that and a loddly-doddly more, neighbor, next on BPM Tech.
Loddly-doddly more?
Flanders, baby.
Hi-diddly-ho.
That's how we roll.
Wow.
That's how we're rolling, neighbor.
Okay, gosh golly. Okay.
Indeed, diddly-doodly.
I've got nothing, Chris. Seriously? Don't!
Yes, my medication's wearing off. Let's hit it.
Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you been?
Not bad. This has been a lot has going on. A lot hasn't been going on. We're in the start of the summer season. Thank goodness. Everyone's spirits are perked now that we're in sunshine season.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the sun is out.
Yes, and not bad. Things are pretty busy, working on a couple things here and there for summer to learn new technology and try a couple things out. But otherwise, I really can't complain. How about you, AJ?
I'm busy, like normal.
Yes.
Let's see. Before coming to this recording, I was ripping planks of cedar for some toe trim for my kitchen.
Shall I call you, refer to you as Bunyan?
Sure.
Yes.
Why not? Welcome to the new Yankee workshop. Or I should say the new Cascadian workshop, because we're up in the north here.
Yes.
But yeah, no, things are going good. I just got done recording a Patreon vlog. That'll be coming out probably next week. And
what was the topic for this one?
Bags.
Bags. Which is a great lead into what we're going to start off with in a little bit.
Are you saying I have baggage?
Yes, you do. Don't we all?
I carry some baggage.
Yes, mine are mainly under my eyes, but you can't see that as you're listening. But
well, that's because you don't drink coffee, but you are drinking something.
Yeah, what the heck am I drinking? Yes, you got to do something different each show, right?
Right.
So I went on the way here. I wanted to grab something, and I'm like, what's the most random thing I could drink? Sonoma Sparkler Organic Lemonade.
Sparkler.
It contains no alcohol because they write it in like all caps.
They do.
At the bottom
Contains
of the label.
no alcohol.
But it is USDA organic, handcrafted, sparkling organic lemonade. By the way, kids, don't shake a bottle of seltzer or anything that says sparkling on it.
Did you have a problem?
I had to exercise my mutant ability to stop a rush of carbonation when I first opened it. So anyway, it is tasty, but yes, no water this time. No tea.
Well, that is kind of water. It's bubbly water.
It's liquid, but I mean, it's not like old granddad's lemonade from the old country. But it works out. So, and you're not. It doesn't look like you're drinking anything.
Well, I'm on two wheels, so yeah. I literally sat down a bottle of San Pellegrino right there in my garage, put on my gear, and then I forgot. At least I brought the microphone, but I forgot my drink.
Well,
so.
But I will say this: as you're arriving, folks, I wish you would have seen the entrance. I'm seeing the two-wheel demon coming in to the parking lot, and I'm hearing not Muse, not Taylor Swift. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Frank Sinatra blasting from that Bluetooth speaker that you play as your soundtrack on the motorcycle. And I got to give a tip to the hat for that one, because that's original, that's you, and that was totally appropriate for this Sunday's podcast.
I'm glad that you can appreciate my vintage swagger.
It's all about the chairman.
Yeah,
it's all about the chairman.
So say we all. So
yes.
Speaking of, let's call this meeting to order.
Indeed.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to start with you first and talk about the bag.
The baggage?
Give us some bags. What's the lowdown?
Okay, so not to give all of my trade secrets of my Patreon vlog, but for the last year, I have been going through bags galore, because one of the most, I don't know, other than the camera itself, probably the next tool that a photographer uses is a bag.
You got to protect the camera.
Well, you're carting that stuff around.
Yeah.
You have to get to the places that you're taking the photos. And so I've gone through everything from Low Pro to Godspeed to Manfrotto and Tenba and Timbuk2 and Peak Design. And I've kind of culled it down to my top 3 bags that I own. This is not a sponsored vlog. These are actual bags that I have thrown down money. And I even say the cost of these bags that I have thrown down in this vlog, for full disclosure. Like, it is non-endorsed, And it's pretty much me saying, this is the good, this is the bad, and this is how much it costs.
While it's not endorsed by the company, an endorsement from Mr. AJ Barcet is good enough to get you all to get out there and buy one.
Yeah, so that's what I've been working on and such. And so to dovetail into BPM, what I wanted to talk about is the flip side of that. So I just got back from North Carolina and South Carolina. And anytime my wife and I travel, we use the same bags. They're made by this little company out of San Francisco called Timbuk2 with the number 2. I mean, well, most people know them for their messenger bags and their bicycling bags and such, but they make some excellent I call them jet setter bags. They have this series called Navigator, and basically they have this duffel that you would love because it's tactical black.
I'm all about the tactical black.
And basically it comes in like 2 sizes, I think, like small and then large, which, I mean, for you, a gentleman like yourself, the large, you could pretty much live out of that thing for like a month.
It's got a lot of capacity.
It's got some major capacity. It's going to be a bag you're going to check. But Ari and I, we typically we don't check our bags anywhere we go, whether it's spending 3 weeks in Europe or 3 days, I don't know, in the Smoky Mountains. We basically always carry on. And it's getting harder and harder to do because everybody's trying to carry on, and not everybody is abiding by the rules. And the airlines are not checking these fools.
Well, they got to get people through onto their flights. I'm not apologizing for them, but yeah, the rules of these dimensions. Yeah.
Because I really wish I would have snapped a picture. There was a flyer on our flight that was wheeling a bag. And he put it right by the little crate, the little metal crate thing that you're supposed to put it in, and if it fits, it ships type of thing. And literally, if I wasn't totally jet lagged and tired because it was a rough flight when we got to Chicago, I would have taken a picture of that because literally you would see the bag does not fit, and yet they let him on.
You didn't call shenanigans and try to bust his chops or anything?
No, because like I said, it was I was trying to not lose my chops on the flight to Chicago. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, while we were there, like I was watching that, and I'm like, well, they're gonna stop him because it's clear. No, the guy rolls it on. Nobody stops him. Okay, gets it in, and of course he tries to do the of course he's in the seat like right before ours, right?
Naturally,
so
yes. His
bag takes up like the spot that would be his as well as mine. And I'm like, really? Guy couldn't care less.
Of course not.
And the stewardesses didn't care less. Like, it was a spectacle, to use a word that starts with S that keeps this podcast clean.
Yes.
But it really made me thought about, you do not, when you travel, you do not have to bring everything in the kitchen sink. You really don't. And
that's a tough one for some people that feel that it's the FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need this somehow on my trip.
Right. And so, and I get that, right? But, the bags that I recommend, which is the Navigator Small. Timbuk2 Navigator Small. My wife and I lived in Europe out of those bags, okay? That was it, because the thing is that when we travel, especially if we're going abroad, if you go to Europe, okay, and you bring all of your favorite clothes and stuff, you have already failed. You're in Europe. Buy clothes while you're there, okay? Yes. Because, when you go to places, the best souvenirs, honestly, is, clothing or things that are unique that you cannot get anywhere else and, are made at the place that you're going. Everybody that goes and gets a souvenir that's, I'm going to pick on New York, right? You go to New York, you see I almost said the Eiffel Tower, wrong one, the Statue of Liberty, and you get the little figurine, the statue, flip that thing over, made in China. How is that a unique souvenir? I could have ordered that on Amazon, And so a lot of what my wife and I kind of preach, as it were, is when you travel, and you go to a unique place, the uniqueness of the experiences that you have there, as well as if you are going to get a souvenir outside of a photograph, look for things like clothing or scarves, things that are made in that country or state of origin, and that's the things that you should be taking away. And also, you get some really cool duds out of the deal.
And when people ask you, wow, that's a really great looking scarf,
Bingo.
If you're a scarf wearer.
It opens the story of that trip.
Yeah, I went on this trip, and now all of a sudden you've got 5 minutes of conversation that will get people entertained.
Bingo. And so that's kind of how we do it. And so dovetailing that back to my vlog, photographers, we're probably the worst offenders of this because whenever we go and I gotta bring my 51.4 because I'm gonna use it. You're not gonna use it. Okay? When you're traveling and you're a travel photographer, you tend to overpack, and that's what I talk about. Is whether you're an amateur or an enthusiast or even a pro, we all do it. We bring all of the lenses that we think we're going to use, and we're going to and it ends up making your bag heavy. It makes your bag very expensive, which makes you a target. And then you're fretting about all this gear that you brought, as opposed to shooting pretty pictures, which is what you meant to do. Exactly. So that's the topic of my vlog, and that's kind of my tip for BPM listeners is, when you travel, and honestly, a lot of the American-based airlines are very generous with carry-on to start with, okay? If you go abroad to Europe, the carry-ons get substantially smaller. So, take advantage of it. You don't have to bring everything with you when you travel. And most times, 9 times out of 10, the little things, you can just buy there and just use it, like Advil or, toothpaste or whatever. Those are the things that, honestly, I don't ever bring with me, because also TSA makes you bag those stupid things.
Yes.
And it's a hassle. So just bypass it.
That's another conversation and
Exactly.
stuff I don't want to get into. But let's bring it to local.
Sure.
Let's bring it home. Backpacks.
Yes.
I see them everywhere around Bellingham.
Word.
It is part of how we carry. There's not a lot of briefcases.
Really? It's like umbrellas, right?
Yes. This is your shock face, I know. But for a person that may be wanting to get a backpack that would be Bellingham appropriate or durable enough, so it's not like you're finding it on sale $9 at a certain huge store that quality is questionable. What would you recommend for the average Bellingham, or those listening at home?
Sure.
What would be a good place to start with getting a backpack to haul some gear around, whether it be change of clothes or some work-related materials or whatever? If
you want unique, there's 3 companies that I would throw out. One is Timbuk2. Like, a lot of people say that, Timbuk2, some of their bags are still manufactured here in America. That's usually their custom bags. And so if you really wanted to get a unique Timbuk2 Messenger, or even their backpack style bags, you can have them customed out, and they'll make them there in San Francisco, and they ship everywhere. So that's a really cool thing if you wanted to have a unique bag that is Bellingham appropriate. You could have like a leather one if you wanted. It's pricey, but it's also guaranteed for life. So if you want to have a bag and put it through its paces, Timbuk2 will honor it. And so that's a really cool feature.
This is part of a type of mentality that some people have with the BIFL.
BIFL?
Buy it for life.
Oh, buy it for... I don't know that one.
Yes,
YOLO?
well, it's a subreddit.
Okay.
But I've happened to do a little bit of dabbling in that because I'm a fan of get the best now and
take care of it.
Cry once for how much it would theoretically cost, and then enjoy many years down the road.
Sure.
Cutting kitchen knives.
Yeah.
Watches. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not quite vehicles, because vehicles degrade. You can't really have that one anyway. But for bags, there are some companies out there that lifetime guarantee is very appealing. And so when you think about $150 for a bag
that you've tricked out, that's the thing.
And it's yours. It's your personality. Take that over the course of 10 years. That's $15 a year, and take 12 months out of that. Do the quick math. That's about $150 a month.
Yeah.
Over the course of...
You pay more for Netflix, folks.
Well, there you go. So consider that. But anyway, so Timbuk2...
Timbuk2 is definitely one I still go to, because for what they are almost bulletproof. You can put them through their paces, and you can get something that fits anybody's style. And if you don't, you can trick it out. On their website, they have a really slick interface that you can pick colors and fabrics and zippers and inseams and down seams and I don't know seams. It's pretty dope.
So you've been almost a quasi somewhat inspiration to me in this case, because we were talking about your bag video log on Patreon for a while, and so I for the past few years I have gone with the black tactical. If it's good enough for our armed forces folks, it's good enough for me.
Absolutely.
And while that's great, there's a certain sometimes it's like, okay, maybe tastes change once you've moved on a couple years in life. And I'm looking at my 5.11 tactical gear that I use, and it would definitely survive a tornado
with all the molly straps, which I greatly love. The molly straps.
But if you're going to look for an EDC, which is short for everyday carry, there is. I've been checking out a place, and I believe they're from Seattle. Tom Bean.
Huh. Tell me more.
Tom Bihn. Timbuk2Navigator.com.
Oh, is that how you say his last name?
I don't have the
Tom Ben.
Well, BIHN.
The logo's got a plane.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I looked at them.
So local, regional.
I didn't realize they were local.
They have a place in Seattle.
Okay.
So, and once again, folks, I may be talking on my butt because this is kind of spur of the moment. I may not have done all the research on Tom Bean. I'm going to call him BIHN just because I want to be a rebel. Anyway, their bags are high quality, used by quite a few in the industry. I mean, this is for Seattle, like San Francisco. Lots of messengers.
Oh yeah.
Lots of pedestrian commuters and those who ride transit to get to work in Seattle. And I've been pretty impressed with some of their specs.
Yeah.
And of course, they have them in black, which is great. So I've given TOMBIHN.com a couple glances on my web browsing history. So in addition to Timbuk2 2.com, check out Tom Bean. You might be impressed with what you see. Once again, this may not be the most economical, but I think in some cases you want to have something that's going to protect what you're putting inside of it.
Yeah.
And especially for camera photographers and for those that you put your technology in something, how much did you pay for that iPad again? $400? You're going to be getting a $9 bag that you got at a conference to throw that in there, and no. BIFL. So anyway, that's good stuff.
No, I looked at them when we were looking for our everyday flight carry.
Sure.
EDFC.
EDFC. It's a great chord progression too.
There we go. EDF. Actually, isn't that the House of the Rising Sun?
It's actually Freebird. But
Okay. Anyway, but no, we looked at them. The one caveat I would say about their travel bags, they do have a travel duffel. I believe it is bigger. It's larger than what international flights will require for carry-on. At least at the time that we were looking at them, which was about 4 years ago now. So that's one thing that I would say about them. But yeah, no, I looked at them. They're a great company, very pricey, but they look solid.
Sure.
So you talk about 511 Tactical.
It's a company that makes bags and gear and packs and apparel and accessory holders for law enforcement and military. And so I've been impressed with what they're about, and boy howdy, nothing is broken or or leaked or busted and there's a ton of zippers and pockets.
Yes.
So if you got a lot of stuff, you got a good amount of things to store it with.
So I'm going to dovetail into another company that does stuff unique and definitely has lots of pockets and organization. And also, I'm going to give them the eco-friendly badge.
Okay.
It's called Alchemy Bags.
Alchemy Bags.
So Alchemy Bags takes recycled bicycle tubing.
Oh, I like it already.
And turns it into baggage.
Huh.
So if you want something like my leather satchel that I have,
yes,
I was debating whether to go rubber or leather, and leather won with me. But it was a tight neck and neck race between it and which is by Passions Leather on Amazon. Please do not Google Passions Leather. Your browsing history may not.
We don't endorse the results that might occur with
maybe NSFW, but on Amazon Passions Leather.
Maybe if you add bag, or satchel.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, be careful on what you're searching.
Just stick with the Amazon. Anyway, so my everyday carry is a leather satchel that you see a lot in my photography. But anyway, that was made by Passions Leather. But I was looking at Alchemy Bags just because of the fact that with it being recycled bicycle tubing, here in the Pacific Northwest, rain ain't going to get in that thing. Like, it's rubber, which I thought was super dope.
I got to check them out. We'll put those three companies in the show notes.
Yeah, totally.
With links so that if you're on a mobile phone and you happen to be flipping through the show notes, we'll get you some clickable links.
Totally.
I got to check them out. I love learning about new places, new concepts and everything. So, and especially if you can recycle it and get towards sustainability in that mindset, giddy up.
Like I said, I thought that they were pretty unique. So that's my baggage.
Right.
For more on photography baggage, check out patreon.com/AJBarsay. Moving on.
So I got a story to tell.
Ooh, story time.
Yes. And so this involves car audio.
Car audio. I thought you said caraudio, and I'm like, caraudio.
In some cases, depending on how some people drive, they're rather aggressive. And
everybody was Bluetooth fighting.
Okay, good enough. All right, take a step down now. Anyway, So about a year ago or so, I was able to acquire another vehicle, and so I had a newish vehicle. It's a 2004, and it had a 6 CD changer and a cassette deck, and I'm like, where's the aux in? Or like, where's the little headphone jack where I can...
The what's up?
I want to be able to, basically, bottom line, I want to be able to take my phone, which is my most oft-used device, and I want to stream music to my car stereo during commute, during whatever.
To save your sanity and keep your blood pressure down.
That too. So this didn't have that, so I'm thinking, okay, do I make mixed CDs of my ambient music, and populate the 6 CD?
I'm going to have to check my text because I think 2006 just called.
Yeah, and they want their burned CDs back. All right, so I was thinking, okay, so I will replace the car stereo deck in my vehicle. And so I called a location here in town, and I gave them the specs on my car, and I went online and I checked. There was about a $120 deck because it has Bluetooth built in.
Nice.
And modern mobile phones have a Bluetooth connectivity, so it's cable free.
Sure.
And I'm all about that. How much would it be to throw in this on? I don't need a lot. I don't need the bump machine. This one had 35 watts per channel. I just
That's
need...
still bumping for your ambience.
All right, fair enough. So they got the information and they asked me a couple questions because on my steering wheel, I'm lucky enough to have volume controls and
Nice.
things like that. Do you want to continue to do that? Well, yeah. So it turns out that with this modern age that we're in, to replace that deck was going to be a total of $750, including labor. And I'm like, could you send me a PDF or could you send me an attachment for that? And, oh, sure, no problem. What's your email address? And so they did. And I just wanted to save that for posterity to just reflect on the audacity that some may have as far as what it would take to get what you need. Like, it's a near renovation of the dang vehicle.
Right.
And so I was a little upset and a little downtrodden because, I want to be able to listen. When I want to listen to I Feel Pretty in my car, I want to pump that up on Apple Music and hit play, and boom, with LTE signal, I hear I Feel Pretty. If I want to hear something from Motorhead, Ace of Spades, I have varying, differing music.
No judgment.
Yeah,
no judgment.
Leave your judgment at home, folks. Anyway, so I was ranting about this to my co-host and another colleague of ours about this over lunch or something like that, or someplace. And AJ, you're the one that gets the credit for this. You said, well, what about this? And you sent me a link on Amazon to a Bluetooth cassette player. And so what this does, made by Ion, I-O-N, and this was $25, and I looked at it, and I think it was about my quickest time buying something off Amazon.
One-click purchase.
Yeah, pretty much. Normally I don't do that, but I'm like, I must have that now. So since then, and that's pretty much about over a year now, it has paired wonderfully with my phone, and also I'm able to help others, such as my daughter, when she's in the car, if I'm going to allow her to be DJ with her choice of music. If I'm feeling generous, I will help her pair her phone to the Bluetooth cassette, and she's able to use the car stereo. So, folks, if you happen to have a vehicle that doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity, or even if you do have one of those headphone in things and you have a mess of wires that you're connecting your phone to and such like that, there are options. If you happen to have a cassette deck in your car stereo, we'll put something in the show notes to show you what we're talking about to click on. But $25 versus $750. I think my wife was down with the choice I made in car audio purchases.
So with the cost difference, did you take her out to a nice dinner at least?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because that's vacation money.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
there.
that's like a tune-up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I got a tune-up coming up in the near future, so I'm like, all right, here you go. So. Ion Bluetooth cassette adapters. Now, keep in mind, it isn't going to be charged as the car is on and the cassette is spinning. You will want to plug this into the included cable to charge maybe about once a week, once every 10 days or so, 7 to 10 days. Because all of a sudden you won't have any music. It doesn't give you any low battery signal, just kind of quits on you.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
So,
like, did you die there?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the cassette did. I'm like, was my phone still, like trying to grab the file? No, anyway. So that was a wonderful discovery, and I wanted to share that with folks because, hey, we are in our cars quite a lot here in America.
Yes.
And we have commutes, and for those of you that have commutes, and if you wanted to, and, oh, by the way, if you got like an Audible app or name it, what plays sound from your phone? Oh, you want to be really cool, and you've got enough of a data plan, get a YouTube video, and it'll play through the speakers in your car, and you can be cool watching your Taylor Swift videos, or Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. If you're on your morning commute, you can see what was going on. So.
See our other podcast, Confessions of Mr. Christopher
Yeah,
Powell.
Exactly. So anyway, that was my advice, helpful tech advice, should you want to use it. So I-5 spots. That's next on the agenda. Last time we went to Meridian Street, talked about Meridian and how awesome that is. And up north, exit 257, I believe, is Northwest Avenue. And they did a great thing by having some roundabouts, which makes everything confusing for those who may be out of town. But AJ, on Northwest Avenue, what would be the spot that people should check out?
So if I had to pick, if you're cruising, if you're cruising the I-50, and when you head back towards Bellingham, let's just say that, you're going to see a little sporting good place called Jaeger's. No, it does not relate to the booze company. It is its own independent. I believe it's family owned.
I would imagine so. They've been around for quite a while.
They have been around for almost ever. Anyway, they're a sporting goods store.
Yes.
Now, everybody knows that I love REI. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think REI is great selection. But Jaeger's is the equivalent of, I would say, like hardware sales is to Lowe's. They're both hardware stores. But I guarantee you, hardware sales has got it. And it's probably going to be way easier to find than, say, a bigger, construction store. And Jaeger's is the same way. Whether you're into archery, or if you're into hunting or fishing or cooking.
If
you go downstairs.
Camping.
Yeah, cooking, camping, apparel. But what's cool is if you go downstairs, they got like this, Toyland and pantry.
One of the few toy lands in existence.
Right?
Yeah.
And these toys are like, they got wood toys. They got these little, remember cork guns? I remember cork guns.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I taught putty
the kind
cat,
you put
right?
your eye out with. Yeah, I remember those kind of guns.
Yeah, so they got the little string and the little cork and pop, just fun stuff like that you don't find at, say, like, something that rhymes with Schmoys R Us.
Okay. Let me think about that one.
But they've got boats, they've got, just everything. And it's usually if I'm doing outside of like specific backpacking and I'll say off the beaten path type of stuff. If I'm actually doing more sporting stuff, I'll usually stop at Jaeger's before I'll do anything else because they'll have it. And the staff there are hands down knowledgeable as well as kind, and they don't bug you. Like, you can literally go in there. If I'm looking for a silver and blue salmon jig for fishing, I can walk in, I know exactly where it's at, go grab it, walk, pay, and leave, and nobody will be like, "Can I help you?" Like something that rhymes with Big Schmive.
You don't have to pay the gap. You don't have to play the gap game.
No, and that's what's nice is that the culture of like sporting goods, like you're kind of in your own, you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for and stuff, and you don't want to be bothered because you're in the zone, And Jaeger's is just like that. And if you do got a question, like, you can ask anybody, whether you have a question about firearms, if you have a question about fishing, or
licenses,
even licensing,
yep.
laws. They are not lawyers, nor do they play one on podcasts, but they will point you in the right direction with state regulations. They're very knowledgeable. I love those guys. So my tip of the hat to Jaeger's on Northwest.
That's right.
So.
For those of you that don't know let me back up a little. For those of you that don't know what the gap game is, this is a game that can be played by one or many. The object of the game is to go into the Gap retail store to
if that is your apparel store,
to touch the back wall from the entrance and make it out before a sales associate could say, "Hey, can I help you with something?" So anyway, the Gap game, it's free. So
it's free. Download it on iOS and Android today.
Well, for the most part.
Chris, what about you? What's your stop?
So on Northwest, Jaeger's is awesome. I was going to do Jaeger's, but you beat me to it. There's a place. I'm a fan of local. I'm a fan of non-franchise.
Aren't we both?
Yes, because anywhere you go, you could probably find these franchise. What makes Bellingham awesome are these places to go to. There's a little bit of a produce zone, a produce stand, and a bit of a kind of plant area. It's called Goods Nursery and Produce. They don't have the huge neon sign that says food or et cetera, that will be lighting homes around it up at night. But as you go down northwest, as you're heading towards Bellingham, it'll be this kind of open area, great prices, really friendly people. Are you seeing the trend that we have here, folks?
I'm getting my bingo card out.
That's right. Yeah, get the checklist. My family have gone there a couple times. That Goods, Produce, and Young Socks are two places that we hit on a regular basis. Hit meaning shop. And
I'm glad you clarified.
I just wanted to clarify that up. So anyway, definitely a fan. So instead of your usual resources to obtain produce, I would suggest trying out Goods Nursery on Northwest. We'll have a clickable link in the show notes for you to be able to find out where the heck this is, because I'm not quite sure about the address on Northwest, but you can't miss it. It's a produce stand or produce garden area. So I think, AJ, you have a new project ticking away.
Nice segue. So it's Hi, my name's AJ Barcet, and I'm a little bit of a TikTokaholic.
Hi, AJ.
So it's no surprise to anybody. I love watches, and I love quality. But one of the things that has always kind of interested me is the whole process of watch making. And although I do not have all the skills or the tools that go with it, I've decided to kind of go down the road of trying to figure out what it would take for somebody here in Bellingham to at least encase, meaning I would buy a movement that is already made and put a watch together. And so I made an order. I've already ordered up a case, some hands, and what I call a dummy dial. It's just a dial that's going to fit the case that I'm going to kind of reverse engineer. And kind of in the days of the 90s when we would, push our big, bold brim glasses on our nose and try to grab parts to make a computer, I'm kind of taking that same approach to a watch, basically. And yeah, I'm getting stuff that's off the shelf, a la the Amazon and the eBay. And, some of it's going to be used, some of it's going to be made by hand. I'm going to talk to a couple of folks here in town that are, a printing press and engravers and such, because I'm going to try to make something a little bit unique and have a Swiss movement.
That's the goal. Of course. Okay, so the quartz and Japanese or other types of movement, that is not what you're...
It's going to be mechanical. I'm kind of looking for a lead for an actual Swiss movement, but and a lot of people are probably thinking like, why Swiss? Why not Japanese? Why not Chinese? Why not?
That was my question.
Well, it's one of those things. It's interesting, but in the process of researching all this, that's kind of the fun part of this project, and it takes me back to back in the days of being in Dad's garage and ripping apart computers and trying to figure out how I could get this motherboard to work.
Many times smaller.
Smaller, yeah. Yes. But I can take my time with it and such, and it's going to be an interesting project.
It's good to create.
Yeah.
And you seem to be a creator.
I try.
With your photography and with other things. So here comes a new watch project.
I tinker.
Well, and we'll check in as the weeks and months go by.
Oh, it'll be months.
Well, fair enough. But we'll do checkups on that. So, right on. So we normally wrap up the show talking about an app that has caught our attention. I'm going to go first this time.
Go for it.
And for those of you that may be like me, I am an info junkie. And I have found myself really enjoying the pursuit of information and knowledge due to various reasons. Partly due to my job, partly due to my need because I want to be in the know. For those of you that are like me and or are just curious about checking out a new app on either the Google Play Store for the folks in the Androidville or the Apple App Store for iOS users, check out Quora, Quora. Quora is such a amazing source of crowdsourced knowledge for information junkies. And basically what this does is it's a free account, and there will always be some kind of randomized question that someone asks. For example, what was the scariest moment you ever experienced, and what was it like? And so there'll be a bunch of people. It's like, okay, my little sister scared me in the bathroom one time, but then they talk about a deep, dark kind of thing. And those who have core accounts will like or upvote, and the most popular ones will float to the top. So you will see a lot of impressive answers. Probably whatever news item you may be encountering, such as Great Britain's exit from the European Union. If you were to type in Brexit in there may be a whole lot of information shared and voted to the top. Have you had any? Did you find out later that you had an encounter with a celebrity, and what was that like? What is the advantage of upgrading outside of your, buy a phone versus lease a phone? And you'll get a lot of impressive answers from people that are looking to get higher ratings and votes to their account.
So it sounds like it's Reddit in Cha-Cha if they had a weird love child.
What's Cha-Cha?
Cha-Cha?
Cha-Cha? No, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh,
I know the dance, but
no, Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha is this old service long before there was Google on your phones. You would text Cha-Cha a question, and it would give you the response.
Oh, you had me confused with someone that actually text messaged in the past.
My mistake.
Yeah,
okay, my bad.
Forgive me. I'm a little out of the loop on that one. So Cha-Cha and
Reddit had a weird love child. Okay,
yeah,
that's
but
cool.
For those of you that like information and just wanted, those curious trivia questions, check out Quora, Quora, in your app store. AJ, how about you?
So mine, because it is travel season, this is going to be a funny recommendation, but it's one of those things where a buddy of mine who is not very tech savvy, he's the one that pointed out this app to me.
I love those types of recommendations.
Right?
Yeah.
So in my travels, we take the Coupeville to Port Townsend ferry quite a lot. That's on Whidbey Island. So it's the Whidbey Island Run.
Route 20.
And so it's one of the few ferries in Washington that you can put reservations on. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much the only way to travel because driving on is almost impossible these days.
Welcome to the future.
Right. So it's funny because usually before my wife and I depart, we usually go up online on the browser and blah blah blah. Well, my buddy who does a lot of work in Seattle and stuff, and he bounces around, he's like, you do that at home, just do it on your phone. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yes, WSDOT, it's an app, it's in the app store, duh. And I'm like, this is coming from the guy that has an Android phone that's like 4 years old, and he just schooled me. And I'm just like, really? And he goes, yeah, that's what I do all the time.
But even us next, we can learn new things, and it's great to get that kind of information.
Yeah, so it's just in the Android store, because I have it on a very good authority. It's there because he has an Android phone, and it works on older devices and on the iPhone. You can download it, and it has all of the tide schedules ferry schedules. If there's any construction points and such, and basically their app, if WSDOT, if you're listening, I would hope that you update it a little bit, because basically a lot of their app is just framed instances of their website, but it's quick access. And so, if you need to quickly make a reservation or see if there is a reservation available, it's a really helpful tool, especially if you're going out to San Juan Islands. San Juan Islands also take reservation.
Oh yeah. Well familiar with that. No, the WSDOT app, that's
really
great.
Simple. I didn't think about it, and so just passing it on.
So there's 2 apps for you to check out after you're done with listening to this podcast. And by the way, AJ and I do enjoy this type of information, learning from many sources, including you listening at home or in your car or on the bus. So if you've got an idea or an app that you really enjoy, send us a voicemail. Give us a call on your mobile phone. You may be able to do that actually at the same time as you're listening to this podcast, but that gets a little weird.
That's meta.
Area code 201-731-8324. That's area code 201-731-TECH. So leave us a voicemail. Let us know what apps you're digging, what apps you think we should be talking about, or you really can't stand this app. What else is out there that could be an alternative?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I got plenty of them. give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. We'd love to hear from you. And depending if it's nice, we will put some of them on the air. So, but once again, thank you very much for listening, and give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you.
Groovy cakes. Well, that, I guess, wraps it up for this edition of BPM Tech. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to us on the iTunes or the Google Play Podcast Store, or you can also find us on SoundCloud and Spreaker. Also, you can shoot us a tweet. We monitor the hashtag BHAM podcast. So those, if you have any thoughts about the show, please feel free to tweet us there. Chris, if somebody wanted to subduedly stalk you, where might they find you?
I had in my mind a smart aleck response. I'm like, wait, I'm hosting a podcast. Let's not do that. Why don't you check me out on Twitter? I'm Minimaltech, MNMLTEK. And if you want, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. Google Chris Powell Bellingham, and I got the top 10, mostly the top 10 results. So you got plenty of ways to find me online. This is going to be a topic for another show, but I've got way too many things that I am in with websites and other things, and I'm out there. So I'd love to hear from you. Give me let me know how we're doing. Give us some ideas for shows, ideas and stuff like that. AJ, how can someone find you out on the web?
They can find me on the Twitter. So that's at AJ Barse, AJBARSE. Also on Instagram with the same handle. Or if you want to follow my photography or support it as a Patreon patron, you can do that at Patreon, patreon.com/AJ Barse.
And stay tuned for that video log on bags, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Powell.
I'm AJ Barse. We will see you next time.